July 6th, 1944. Families gathered beneath a giant circus tent in Hartford, Connecticut. Children laughed, music played, and the greatest show on earth was about to begin. But within minutes, that joyful afternoon would turn into one of the deadliest fires in American history. 168 people would lose their lives, hundreds more would be injured, and a place built for wonder would become a burning trap. This is the story of the Hartford Circus Fire. The day the Big Top became a death trap. The circus was a place of wonder. Families came to escape the world. Children came to dream. On that warm summer afternoon, thousands filled the giant tent. They watched performers, laughed at clowns, and waited in excitement for the show to begin. For so many families, this was a perfect day. No one inside the Big Top could imagine that within minutes, everything would change. It didn't begin with an explosion or with panic. It began quietly, near the canvas walls of the circus tent. A small flame touched the waterproofed fabric, and the fire raced upward in seconds. The canvas, treated with flammable chemicals, burned like gasoline. Flames climbed the tent walls, smoke rolled across the ceiling, and before anyone truly understood what was happening, the Big Top was on fire. What began as a tiny spark was about to become one of the deadliest fires in American history. This is the truth that hurts the most. Many people didn't fail to escape. They simply couldn't. The fire spread faster than anyone expected. Thick smoke blocked vision, and the massive crowd rushed toward the exits, all at once. But many of those exits were blocked by ropes, equipment, and fencing. Some were too small. Others were impossible to reach in time. As the burning tent began to collapse, panic and confusion turned the circus into a deadly maze. Families were separated, children were trapped, and the Big Top became a prison of fire and smoke. When firefighters reached the circus grounds, they were met with unimaginable horror. The massive tent was burning from top to bottom. Flames raced across the canvas, smoke filled the sky, and inside, thousands of people were trapped in fear and confusion. Fire crews ran toward the flames. They pulled victims from the smoke. They fought to reach children and families wherever they could. They worked without hesitation, without fear for their own lives, doing everything possible to save as many people as they could. But the scale of the disaster was overwhelming, and many firefighters would carry the memories of that day forever. When the flames were finally brought under control, the true horror of the Hartford Circus Fire was revealed. 168 people were gone, hundreds more were injured, and countless families were forever changed. Hartford fell silent. A city that had gathered for joy now gathered in grief. Parents searched desperately for loved ones, hospitals overflowed, and the nation watched in heartbreak as the story unfolded. This was not just a circus fire. It was one of the darkest days in American history. From unimaginable tragedy came change. The Hartford Circus Fire forced the nation to confront the dangers of large public gatherings. Flammable tent materials were banned, stricter crowd limits were enforced, and emergency exits became mandatory at large events. Fire safety codes were rewritten, fire departments improved training for mass casualty fires, and public safety became a priority instead of an afterthought. The lessons learned that day have saved countless lives, and they continue to protect families, even now. Because when disaster strikes, preparation is the difference between tragedy and survival. Behind every number was a person, a family, a life that mattered. We remember the 168 people who lost their lives beneath the Big Top. We honor the children, the parents, the performers, and every soul taken that day. We remember the firefighters who ran toward the flames, and the city that carried the weight of that tragedy forever. The Hartford Circus Fire is more than history. It is a reminder, a lesson, and a promise that we must never forget. If you'd like to learn more about this tragedy and the safety changes it created, please see the video description for more information. Thank you for watching. This is The Burning Oath. Stay aware, stay safe, and never forget.